Welcome to Burnham Pavilion. We have a competition today, Stanford versus California versus Oklahoma. We're here at Stanford, California in Burnham Pavilion. My name is Brian, and I'm here with Andrew Bitner. We'll be commentating today, taking you through the meet, talking about some cool things in the world of men's gymnastics, and sit back and relax, and we'll get started after some introductions.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Burnham Pavilion and Ford Center, the home of your Cardinal men's gymnastics team. This afternoon's competition will feature 3 teams competing in the tri-meet format: the 8th ranked California Golden Bears, the number 1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners, and your 2nd ranked Stanford Cardinal. This is our last home competition for the 2024 season, and we'd like to recognize our seniors as they compete in their final home competition. First, let us recognize our 5th-year seniors. Please welcome Brandon Briones, J.R. Chow. Brandon and J.R. are both 5th-year mechanical engineering majors. They have been amazing team competitors and were recognized in last year's ceremony. After graduation, Brandon will be starting as a product quality engineer for Simple Human in Los Angeles. He plans to stay connected to gymnastics throughout his life in some way, and if he can't physically participate anymore, JR has one job offer and an interview for 2nd on Monday. Stressing him out, so we wish him good luck. Thank you for 5 great years on the farm, Brandon Briones and JR Chow. And now, please welcome Jeremy Bischoff. Jeremy is from Santa Clarita, California. He's accompanied by his brother Mia and father David. Jeremy is a 3-time member of the NCAA National Championship team and hoping to be one of the few athletes in any sport to capture 14 titles. In his freshman year, Jeremy has made the U.S. Senior National Team and has held on to his spot throughout his collegiate career. He has represented the USA at competitions in Germany, Bulgaria, Slovenia, and North America. Jeremy carries a 3.4 GPA in his major, computer science, with a focus on artificial intelligence. He has a minor in management science and engineering. While at Stanford, Jeremy constructed and compared various neural network models to predict real estate prices, used US Census data with machine learning to analyze industry growth and predicted future economic trends, programmed an academic planner, made a video game, and spent many hours staring at a computer screen. In Jeremy's words, what he experienced at Stanford was to strive for excellence and embrace the journey of learning and growth. And although you won't have time to do everything, keep yourself open to opportunities that arise. Jeremy plans to start a career in the tech industry and help develop and create cool, innovative technologies after graduation. Round of applause and give it up for Jeremy Bischoff. Our next senior, please welcome Brandon Wynn. Brandon is from Elk Grove, California. He's accompanied by his mother, Tanya Nong, and father, Todd Wynn. Brandon is majoring in human biology with a concentration in human physiology and public health and carries a 3.65 GPA. Brandon is a 3-time member of the NCAA National Championship team and hopes to be one of the few athletes in any sport to capture 14 titles. He garnered All-American honors on the parallel bars in 2023 with a 4th place finish. While on the farm, Brandon works in the Wu-Sai lab as part of the IBC3 study, investigating the impacts of the menstrual cycle and ceramic rhythm on injury risk in women. He is a volunteer co-director for Cards for Kids, a non-profit organization created by fellow Stanford students that is committed to bringing moments of joy and normalcy into the lives of children undergoing treatment at the Lucille Packard Children's Hospital through engaging in interactive sports-related activities. Brandon has been a member of the AIMS Athletes in Medicine since his freshman year. When asked one of his takeaways from his time at Stanford, Brandon stated, "I have learned how to deal with adversity, both academically and athletically, while still enjoying the small moments along the way. It has been a lot of fun being able to compete alongside the many team members that I can call my brothers for life. I am grateful for the opportunity to be part of such a special program." After graduation, Brandon plans to gain experience in the medical field and apply for medical school. Fans, make some noise for Brandon Wynn! Our final senior today is from Austin, Texas. His name is Colt Walker. Colt is accompanied by his brother Pam and father Keith. Colt is a mechanical engineering major carrying a 3.45 GPA. Colt is a three-time member of the NCAA National Championship team and hopes to be one of the few athletes in any sport to capture 14 titles. He garnered All-American honors in the parallel bars in 2022. Colt has been a mainstay on the USA Senior National Team. He was part of the 2022 World Championship team, the 2023 Bronze Medaling World Championship team, and the 2023 Gold Medal winning Pan American Games team. As a member of the USA National Team, Colt has successfully represented the United States multiple times in Europe and the Americas. While on the farm, Colt's mechatronics team has finished second in the annual D-School Robotics Competition. To put that in perspective for you non-nerds, it's like reaching Y-level 319 in Minecraft. Colt spends countless hours in the product realization lab, realizing that he may have chosen the wrong major. Colt's taken away from his Stanford experience. The standard you hold yourself to is dependent on the people you surround yourself with. Thankfully, this team is of the highest caliber. After graduation, Colt will be seeking a job in controls engineering. Fans, give it up for Colt Walker! Fans, one more time for the Stanford Men's Gymnastics class of 2024. And now fans, please rise if you're able and remove your hats. We ask you to join us in honoring the United States of America with the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner. in the California Golden Bears.
All right, guys, we got here the Stanford coaches, head coach Tom Guglielmi, joined by Mark Freeman, Grant Breckenridge, and new coach Ruben. He was a 2012 Olympian for the Spanish team, and happy to have him on this coaching staff. Stanford's coming in as a number 2 ranked team in the country with a high score of 415.25 and an average of 408.05.
Going up against Stanford today, we have Cal Berkeley, coached by JT, Carl, and Brian. Coming in today's competition, Cal has an average of 394 and a high of 400, so they'll really be trying to break into the 400s today during this competition, which will be exciting to watch. Along with Cal, we have Oklahoma, who is ranked number 1, coached by Mark Valaria and Josh and Genki. Like I mentioned, OU is coming in here ranked number 1 with an average of 414 and a high of 420.
Yep, Pearl, really excited. Really excited to see this competition. We got 3 of the 4 MPSF teams, so it's really good competition to gauge where everyone's at heading into that here in a couple weeks. So I'm excited to see how these teams stack up today.
Yeah, it's definitely a precursor. It's definitely a precursor to MPSFs and even NCAAs, with OU and Stanford both having won NCAA championships in recent years. Obviously, as we just noted, OU is coming in here ranked number 1, so Stanford will definitely be putting out their lineups today to try to not only beat them today, but overthrow that ranking.
So here on the bottom screen, Stanford starting on floor. We got Cal on horse, Oklahoma on rings, and they're going to be moving in tri-meet format. So they'll all be doing the first 3 events, move through to the last 3, and then cycle through them. So that's how it's going to work today. Excited to have you guys all in here to watch with us.
This will definitely be an interesting competition to see how the flow of it goes. Obviously, Stanford starting on floor as one of the highest scoring events, in contrast to pommel horse. It'll be interesting to see how Cal handles kind of probably being down in the scores, even after the first event. OU, I know, has a strong ring lineup. But it'll be interesting to see how that kind of unfolds as well.
Yeah, it's always one of the fun kind of strategies in gymnastics that I don't think a lot of people, outside of gymnastics know is, us at Stanford, we know that we typically try to start on either floor or vault when we're on these big competitions, just because we like the flow of it, starting on a high event and then, kind of ending on rings where it's a little bit safer. So it's always kind of like one of those mind games and strategies teams like to play.
Totally, and I think that's going to just get us started right now. We have Tyler on pommels, and we're going to have Taylor on floor, and then Max on rings. So Taylor is definitely one of the routines that Andrew and I want to point out on floor. Has been in the lineup on Stanford's floor since his freshman year and has always improved. So let's see what he can do today.
Nice Randy right there from Taylor. I love the new red floor. I don't know when they got this, but good second pass. Looked like he stuck the landing there.
Yeah, I mean, so Andrew, when you were competing floor, if you were in Taylor's position right now, what is going through your head? I mean, fans are there. It's senior night. You know, you're representing not only Stanford but the seniors tonight. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Is it a little bit of both? Bring us through what's your mindset on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you went through it too, but I mean, when you're about to go, you know, the nerves are there. You're looking at your seniors and you want to finish it out right with them, but once you get out there and you salute, you know, it's all just the same gymnastics. So they're just gonna go out and do everything they do every day, and you know, one pass at a time, one landing at a time, and try to do the best gymnastics they can. Looks like Taylor finished up there. Good routine to start out with. And it looks like we've got our first score in, 13-3 by Tyler on horse. That's also a good start for them. So good start to this meet.
Yeah, I just noted there was a stick on rings, and so when you stick a dismount, there's added bonuses on top of that. So I think this late in the year, we're after Winter Cup. We're closing in on not only conference championships but obviously NCAA championships. So we really want to. The teams obviously, with all these coaches, they're striving for those sticks, and so obviously pommels and rings you only have one to stick, but with floor it's every one of those. So
yeah, and that's what this time of the year is all about, right? I mean, everyone's got their routines almost pretty much locked in, you know.
yeah, we talked about floor. The key things are, you know, we want to pack as much difficulty into those routines and stick as many landings. You know, with rings, it's all about how well you hold each position. Each position, that's either a strength skill or even just a handstand, like Matthew's doing right now. And a second stick on rings, Max and Matthew just stuck back to back. And that's kind of Oklahoma's name to the game, it seems like. While they do have some really, really big start values, when you compare those start values to maybe, let's say, Stanford, they're not quite as high caliber, but their execution-wise is off the charts for this stage of the game and this early in the season, which is
I mean, that's
always been impressive.
I mean, it's a very good testament to Mark Williams' coaching. I mean, for as long as I can remember watching collegiate gymnastics, I mean, they've been that team. That's been their identity. So it's really cool to see, you know, that carry on. And you know, this team is always one of the most dangerous teams in the country. So it's always fun, these meets between Stanford and Oklahoma. I mean,
yeah, and I mean, you know, Cal right now is ranked 8th, but they're putting together a really nice kind of couple sets of pommel routines. Again, you know, pommels to start off at a meet like this can be nerve-wracking, but there's the third hit in the row by Noah. So this is one of the Stanford seniors going right now, senior night. She just finished up.
Yeah, love to see Brandon out there on floor. You know, he had an unfortunate injury back a couple years, so it's awesome to see him back out there, close out his senior year like that. So that's awesome. Perla, take me back to your senior night. What do you remember from that night, and how did it feel to be out there? How special is it for these guys? Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
So
Next up on board exercise for Stanford.
yeah, I mean, as I was mentioning, it's super special. I mean, you want to win every competition, but you especially want to win your last one in this facility and in this with your team. And so we got Asher right now going on floor. Has probably one of the most difficult routines in the country, not only NCAA but as Team USA.
Yeah, this guy just he tumbles with power. I mean, he's going a million miles an hour, and he's going up 10 feet in the air. I mean, this is world-class gymnastics we're seeing from him. And this year, 2024, a guy like Asher is not only just competing here for the team, but looking for more gymnastics this summer with the Paris Olympics coming up. So, he's got a lot going on right now, and I love watching his gymnastics.
Yes, he definitely has a lot.
Looks like he's gearing up for his last pass here. Can we get a stick? Oh, small hop, but great set by Asher. In the meantime, just some updates on some scores. Looks like Stanford through 2 routines is a 27.55, Cal with a 39.8, and Oklahoma 27.45. And I'm looking at Cal's lineup so far. Now they got another mid-13 there from Noah, 13.6. They're coming out strong with this horse lineup, so it's gonna be really, really fun to see as they continue on this meet and where they end up.
Yeah, they're hitting routine after routine, which is exactly what you want to do on pommel horse, especially leading up to your anchor spot with Aiden going right now.
Wow, that was a beautiful sewn right there. This guy has the epitome of a pommel horse build. Long, lengthy, great swing, fast hands. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Just trying to finish it up cleanly, and that'll be a great score to start off their meet.
Oh, all right. Good finish there by Aiden. Way to muscle it out.
Yeah, that'll.
Sometimes the name of the game. Yeah, sometimes the name of the game, especially on an event like horses, staying on the horse. I mean, it's a lot harder than it sounds. So, anytime you do that, especially.
Totally. Looks like while we're still waiting on Asher's score, we have Task going on rings right now. OU is putting up a great ring, lineup as well. Again, we're not seeing the same difficulty as we're seeing on floor, but that's just the nature of rings as well. But they are sticking routine after routine. So with Cal done on pommel horse, it looks like we're going to shift our focus to floor and rings. We'll have one more competitor on rings, and we have 2 more competitors on floor. We have Coy up next, who has another jam-packed difficulty routine. Coy is also on the national team. It's very similar to Asher. So let's see how many landings he can stick here. That was a great first pass. With those connection passes, you'll see them connecting skill after skill into one floor pass. Not only does that help with kind of shortening the amount of passes that you do, but it also adds difficulty through bonuses. Connecting one hard skill to another will give you extra tenths in bonus. The great routine that Coy's putting together. We can see so many sticks in a row here.
love seeing these pommel horse elements by Coy on floor. Where everyone that's Coy, horse is one of his best events, if not his best event. So bringing that out on the other events to show his strengths is awesome.
Totally, yeah. I mean, you have to have a what they call a non-acro on floor, and so with Coy being arguably one of the best pommel guys in the country, he definitely wants to capitalize on that.
I know, Perla, your floor routines were a lot different looking than his, having those kind of elements in there. You were the raw
Definitely.
power tumbling guy.
Definitely was. That's all I could do, so I had to take advantage of that. You didn't see
really nice,
too much.
really nice double to finish there.
So OU just wraps up on rings as well. Cal with a 66.8 on pommel horse. Honestly, a great score.
Yeah, guys,
they
for
all
pommel,
hit
I mean,
their routines. They're all in the 13, which is exactly what you want to look at when you're looking at the pommel scores, and they're moving on to rings, which is going to be a higher scoring event for them probably.
Yeah, I mean, Perla, you alluded to earlier. I mean, a floor score versus a horse score, it's not really, can't really compare it, just by the face value. If a 66 on horse and a 67 on floor, you'd be happy with that start if you run horse, so good score there. Looks like we got Jeremy Bischoff last on floor, another senior. Excited to see him go out.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy's one of those athletes that came in as a freshman, and we were both at Stanford, and we had a tough floor lineup to try to break into, but he kept fighting and kept training, and for him to be in the anchor spot shows a lot of what Tom thinks about him and his capabilities and his confidence on floor, and I think we're seeing that today, and we'll see that throughout the entire competition with him as a an all-rounder. I don't think he's doing all-around today, but he he definitely trains all around and is a well-composed gymnast.
Yeah, I mean, he's just coming off of a great Winter Cup performance where he made national team. So he's really maturing in his gymnastics and really settling into these lineups. So it's awesome to see from him.
And just looking as Jeremy finishes up, just looking back on Coy's score, looks like we got the first 14 of the meet with a 14.3. I think Stanford had a little bit of a rough floor. They had some mid-13s, and while that's not always the best, you gotta kind of stay short-minded and keep moving to the next one. While we don't have the final scores up, again, like you alluded to, 66.8 on pommel horse versus a 67.9 on rings. Those are very close for two very different scoring events.
Yeah, and I don't think we saw one fall. So I think great gymnastics across the board. That's what we want to see as gymnastics fans, is everyone going out doing their gymnastics the best they can, and just seeing who comes out on top. So great start. You see, Oklahoma had 3 out of their 5 guys stick their dismounts, and Perla, you were just talking about it. I mean, that's Oklahoma gymnastics. It's great gymnastics, good landings. It's it's what they do. So
yeah, and if you think about it's, you hear all the time, oh, it's 1/10 bonus here, it's a 1/10 bonus here, but that's not talking about the swing, right? Because if you're not sticking it, you're taking a step, which is at least a 1/10 deduction. So it's really a 2/10 swing. So if those sticks didn't happen, they could have been a 67 flat in theory.
Yeah, and just talk about even more from just a scoring perspective, how big is it for the team? I mean, we see the guys and we hear them getting loud and getting amped up, on the sideline, but take us back to some of the biggest competitions we've been in, 2019 championships and really any of the NCAA championships we've been in. How big are those moments just for the team and getting everybody going?
Yeah, I mean, for Max to be the first one to stick it out on the first event up, the first guy to stick it, it just builds momentum. And then you have the second guy, Matthew, stick it. And it just is, while they're individuals competing, it really is a team sport and a team, morale around it, which really is important. So to get into the final score, Stanford is leading with a 69.6. Oklahoma in second with a 67.9, and Cal with a 66.8. So they're switching events right now. OU is going to go to floor exercise. Stanford is going to be on pommel horse, and Cal on steel rings. Andrew, what key routines are you looking at for this rotation? I know that there's a lot of routines. There's going to be, 16 routines, but which ones might you point out and that we should keep an eye on?
Yeah, I mean, starting on floor and these Oklahoma guys. I mean, Jack Freeman, 5th-year seasoned vet. He's going to be a routine to watch, and same as Emery Donnelly. I mean, he's been one of the best floor guys, in the country since he's been there at Oklahoma. On horse, I'm excited to see, obviously, Coy, silver medalist at the World Championships on horse. JR has been putting together some very good routines and added a lot of flair work to his routines, so I'm excited to see both of those. And on rings, I mean, I'm just excited to see the whole Cal team. I mean, after what they did on horse, Noah Neufeld, he was just named a Neeson Emery finalist, so really excited to see him compete today. And yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Emery is ranked number 1 on floor with an average that trumps anyone else by a half a point. So when you see a leader like that, you really have to keep an eye on him. 15.2 high on floors, 0.5 above anyone else. And so while he's in the anchor spot, let's hope that the OU team can build the momentum like we were talking about and get another one of those big scores.
Yeah, totally. Looks like we got Leo and Jackson starting. Leo on floor and Jackson on rings. Very strong looking Maltese from Jackson to start out with. Good planche, good Maltese. Very strong guy. You see all these strength elements are flat, they're well held.
We got a rune up on pommel horse as well as a sophomore from actually the California area. He's been really present in the Stanford pommel lineup this entire year. And first up is a super important spot, especially for a team that sometimes has some issues on pommel horse.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about being the first up. I mean, especially on an event like horse where falls unfortunately tend to happen more than other events. It really shows how much the coaches trust him to put up a solid start to the event, and it's exactly what he did. So, looked like a good start from all 3 teams here on the second rotation.
Where was your favorite place in the order to compete on pommel horse and rings? I guess were your 2 main events.
I mean, so especially like early on when I was doing all around, I hated being last because it would just make me tired going into the next event. But same thing with first. You're just getting done from the last event, so I like being somewhere 3 or 4. In that sweet area, but. If I know you like the anchor spot more than anything.
I think freshman year I was first up every time. I liked either being first or last, I think. Kind of just building momentum and getting the team excited was one of my favorite parts about competing, and I think that you have an effect on that first and last for sure.
Yeah, totally. huge score from Arun, 14.35, and
Wow.
Luke's here putting together a solid, great dismount. Looks like he got the angle up. So great start from Stanford here on horse.
Yeah, Luke has one of those routines where he doesn't do any handstands and he just swings and does circles a ton of times, and it looks like probably looks pretty simple from the outside, but there's a lot of intricacies that go into that. We'll see, like an athlete like Asher, you know, he goes to handstand probably 3 times during his routine, but Luke doesn't. So it's interesting to see those differences in athletes, even though they're all gymnasts and they're all really good at pommel horse.
I mean, that's what's so awesome about gymnastics. I mean, their routines are so constructed so differently. I mean, to Asher's, I mean, JR has, you know, most of his routines in the flares, so that one always has the wow factor. So just a huge double layout there from Brigham. Double stick. The Oklahoma guys always know how to tumble. I mean, they're always one of their best events.
Oh.
Looks like we got
JR is a 5th year. Looks like we have first up on rings, Jackson. Oh no, Theodore is second up on rings.
I think this is actually Marcus here on horse. He's swinging good. Got the dismount up.
3 for 3 on pommel horse.
And this is a stellar floor set that we're watching. Let's see if he can finish it out with the stick. Seen some big gymnastics here tonight. That was awesome.
No, and if people are watching in our if those watching along are also looking at the Virtius score system, you'll be able to see the start values that we're mentioning. So on pommel horse, we have a 5.5, 5.6, and a 5.3. And on floor, Leo had a 15.1 start value.
And here's one of those routines to watch, Perla, here on horse.
Oh yeah, Coy, you can see him down there in the corner.
Up, swinging nice. Jam-packed routine. He's another one of those guys. Senior national team member is going to have a busy summer, you know, with gearing up for hopefully, you know, contending for the Olympic team.
Yeah, we actually have 2 key routines going on right now. We have pommel horse and floor with Jack Freeman.
Looks like Coy muscled it up, and
Jack is a 5th year, is that right, Andrew?
Yeah, Jack's the 5th year, and you know he's kind of the epitome of Oklahoma. You know, he's always there doing the work. You know, the Oklahoma way, and been really awesome competing. I remember competing against him multiple times, and he's a great competitor, but also just one of the nicest dudes, you know, out there. So,
Really agree. So yeah, I mean, like we talked about, usually these lineups are built. Often they're built. You have kind of some of the easiest routines that go out first to try to get you some momentum to build, and then you'll put the harder routines at the end to boost that score and come home strong. But it's interesting to see Coy 4th in the lineup and Jack 3rd in the lineup, because it doesn't always go that way. I mean, Arun right now has a 14.3, and is actually, he was the first up, but is actually still winning that event.
Yeah. And sometimes,
not to forget about Cal, is still hitting routine after routine on rings.
Yeah, Jackson 13-3, Theodore 13-7-5. They're hitting routine after routine, and it's fun to watch. And here's another big routine here, J.R. Chow, 5th year. And this is one of the routines to watch just because of all the flares, and here we go.
It's a wild routine. It's a fun routine.
It's always fun to watch. I think people that don't watch gymnastics can see this and just, they're like, wow. I mean, all these travels. And it looks like he finished out well. Really hype, getting the crowd going. So really excited to see that score come in.
Totally, and actually, that is SJR's last routine in this stadium.
Wow.
So typically we've seen him do high bar in the past, but looks like he only came out and did pommels today. But he's got to be proud of that. Great career in Burnham Pavilion, and I'm sure he's excited to sit back and put some sweatpants on and cheer the rest of the guys on.
Absolutely. We got Nico here on floor. Big step there on the full in. Meanwhile, we got Darren Wong on rings. Darren's been one of those gymnasts. I mean, he's uber talented and had some unfortunate injuries early in his career, but it's good to see him out there competing for the Golden Bears as he finishes up. Great landing there.
Totally. And just looking at some scores here, when we compare OU on floor and Cal is 1/10 away from OU's score, their current score on floor, which is crazy. Stanford put up a great score on pommel horse.
Wow, good dismount. Yeah, really impressed with Cal here on these first two events. It looks like they got Chris Scales last to go for them, and then I know we got Emery here on floor last up, first in the nation. Really excited to see this guy tumble.
Yeah, this will be a really great routine and a key routine to highlight. Huge gymnastics, not only on the NCAA stage, but the USA stage as well.
It's like Asher got a 14 to finish up. That's not going to count for the team score, as he was just in the all-around spot, but nonetheless, a great score for Asher. Bryan, what was your favorite event to start on, especially when you were doing floor and vault? Did you like going, floor early on, vault early on, or kind of just waiting and resting beforehand?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I didn't really try that many different combinations of it. So I don't think I would have liked going last on floor, or having floor be the last event. I always liked vault first because more or less it's pretty straightforward and easy enough in general. Yeah, I mean, I think as soon as I got to Stanford, we kind of figured out, let's do vault first, and then floor was just naturally fourth as well. So
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, vault first was really nice, and for the all-arounders, it helped out a lot because doing a big vault last or even second to last, some of the vaults we're going to see today are crazy, and so to have that amount of energy left to do it can sometimes be
And that's
a little
that's
bit
crazy.
unfair.
He just did a layout punch Randy. I think it was 4th pass. So there's a reason why this guy is ranked number 1. And
Yeah, we're going to see a big score here. It's really going to boost OU's total.
yep, small step, just 1/10 there, but huge routine there.
Cal is beating OU on floor, so they are still putting together a great ring kind of lineup as well.
Yeah, and going back to starting on vault, I mean, not only is it, it takes a lot of effort to do some of these big vaults, but when you're you're going to a big competition, you got some nerves. It's kind of nice to just kind of go all out, and vault's one of those events where you can just let it rip, and if you take, the worst that happen if you go big, you take a step forward, but as opposed to an event like horse, where I know virtually everyone hates starting on horse. A lot of jitters, and you can just be one little hand placement off from being off. So
Totally, and it looks like this rotation has basically wrapped up. We're waiting for some scores to come in. There's going to be a little score adjustment from Stanford as well, but overall, a good rotation, right, Andrew? I mean, there's some things on floor here and there that maybe OU could have wished was better. I think Cal, I mean, with 2 stuck dismounts, I think Cal and Stanford have to be happy, and really OU. I think all 3 teams have to be happy finishing up that set.
yeah, absolutely. And if you look at 15 by Emery, and I mean that's only going to boost his 4-score average, which was sitting at a 14.9. So awesome stuff there. And if you're looking at home, you see Stanford had an 84.35. There's an extra routine there, so that Asher's score of 14 would be removed. So it looks like they got right around a 70, 70.35. So that's a great score for horse, and waiting on that last score for Cal on rings. But all 4 scores prior have been very solid. So really impressed with through 2 rotations from all 3 teams.
Yeah, these meets are always the best when you have teams, you never want to win or lose a competition and have that come down to falls. I mean, as much as Stanford wants to win this, they want to win it in the right fashion. And as much as OU and Cal want to win this, they want to win it the right way, and they want a good competition just as much as we do. And so, it's great when you have, again, these scores: JR 14.5, Emery 15 on floor, and nearly all mid to above 13s on rings. It's exactly what you look for in a competition. So we'll be headed to the next rotation. This will wrap up kind of our focus on floor, pommels, and rings. And let's talk about some key routines here. I know that there's some big time scores and big time routines that might come of this rotation. So what are you thinking, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, Noah Newfield and Tyler anchoring those last 2 spots for Cal. I'm really excited to see them go out and show out. I know Zach and Ignacio Yockers are two big time routines on horse, so really going to be looking forward to that. I think Ignacio is ranked 2nd in the nation, and Zach is just after that at 4th. So some big routines there, and on rings, we know how strong and great Asher and Mark Berlaga are on rings. So really excited for those key events.
Yeah, and I think if I could add to that, I'm excited to see Colt. It was the first time we're going to see Colt, one of the seniors. First time we're going to see him tonight. I know he's been through some injuries this year, which is probably why we're not seeing him on every event, but it'll be great to see, him, his first of a few routines tonight during senior night. So yeah, Andrew, you were right. Looks like Stanford their score's just been trued up to a 70.5. So they did win that rotation. They've actually won the first 2 rotations, which is reflected in their score total. But this is definitely a great rotation as well.
Yeah.
For every team.
And I think for everyone watching at home, I mean, you see the score difference and Stanford's ahead, but a team like Cal, right, they're almost 5 points behind, but they're on the highest scoring of the 3 events, so they're going to look to close that gap a bit here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's funny to think about like high scoring and low scoring events, because when I would think about that, I would think about pommels being probably the lowest and floor being the highest, but Stanford actually flip-flopped that, and so did OU and Cal. So
you never know.
You never know.
Looks like a pretty solid routine here from Kalen. Finishes it well. Good start there.
Great to see a lot of people there as well. Up there right above the Stanford sign, that's usually where all the alum, that's usually where they all kind of corral and cheer the team on. And then down in the stands, obviously parents and boys members of the Stanford team. And so good to see people. I mean, that made such a difference as well, Andrew, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, just having everyone come out and being in Burnham, where it's not the biggest seating venue, but it feels packed. When you have it filled up, and it feels there's so much energy in that place, and you stick a dismount, and the place just erupts. It's always fun. That's one of the best things about this sport.
I don't know if it's exciting as watching it, with us commentating, but it's probably pretty good there.
Probably. Maybe not as good.
If we started giving out virtual free pizzas, maybe let's start giving out $15 Domino gift cards. Yeah. There you go. Entrepreneur. All right.
All right, looks like Yu-Chin Lee on floor. He's also a routine I want to watch. I mean, this guy's really springy. Love watching and competing against him. Great landing there.
I was just going to look up. I think he might be a senior as well. He's a graduate student.
Yep.
He is a graduate student.
Yeah, he's been around, and he's helping lead this Cal team to a great season. Also got Colt on rings, one of those seniors we wanted to highlight.
Totally, yeah. Strength is definitely Colt's strong suit on this event, and it's great to see him back and out on senior night today.
Yeah. I mean, he was on the world team back in 2022. Battled some injuries since then, but he's looking strong here, and great landing there in dismount. He's going to be in the mix this summer too. I'm really excited to see how he shakes out this year.
Oh yeah, out on this floor, there's definitely, I don't know, what would you say, four to five of them that are going to be vying for spots in the Summer Olympic Games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Olympic team, it's just the best of these collegiate guys. I mean, whether they're president or past collegiate gymnast. I mean, this is where the Olympic team is going to be from. So,
definitely.
The Team USA, they take that with them. They bring the energy and the college environment with them, and really have that identity everywhere they go. So it's really cool to see they go to those big competitions.
Yeah, and so just to connect back to some scores, Arun with a 13.9 on rings, which is great. I mean, to have a point or less off on any event is kind of the benchmark that you want to be at. Especially with some of the higher start values out here, you won't see that. You'll see maybe sometimes more than a point off, but a point is really where you want to be at.
Yep. And usually on an event like rings like this, I mean, there's almost like 8-10 spill 10 just from doing the routine, you know, with the swings and the built-in deductions that everyone just gets off. And here's Asher starting off with his uprise invert there. And, you know, he reconstructed his routine earlier this year, and I think it's really benefited him a lot. You know, he's starting with the invert first skill and doing a Nakayama instead of a Nazarian later in the routine.
And we have Zach going at the same time. So Zach had a great hit routine. Let's see if Asher can follow it up as well.
Yep, and there's the double lay. You don't see too many collegiate gymnasts doing that dismount, so great to see that
Definitely
from him.
not.
Good set.
With Theodore up on floor right now. Cal's been still staying above 13s on all their scores so far. OU's been putting together a really nice pommel run as well.
14-4 from Zach. I mean, yeah, it's gonna put you in a good spot scoring like that on horse. You know.
Yeah.
You got him. It was the reason he's ranked top 5 in the country on this event, and following up with Ignacio, who's one of the best in the country as well.
Yeah, this is a great routine to kind of keep an eye out as well.
I was talking about that Cal gymnast earlier. This guy has the epitome of a horse frame as well. I mean, big swing, beautiful lines.
Oh yeah, and let's see where he's ranked actually before we were talking about he's ranked number 2 on pommel horse right now. With a 4-score average of a 14.95. So while JR is winning right now, if Ignacio puts together a hit routine, we might see JR getting second today on pommel horse. It does look like he does hit that routine. So it'll be interesting to see what that score is. It'll be kind of crazy if they put up another 15 with Emery got a 15 on floor, and it'd be crazy if Ignacio got a 15 on pommels as well.
Yeah.
Asher just put up
crazy numbers. Yeah, 15. So, just trading blows back and forth. Oklahoma and Stanford. These big routines to finish up the third rotation. This is Jeremy on rings. Another one of those seniors gearing up for the dismount. Beautiful double.
I think Jeremy can stick that every time.
Yeah. He's a sticking machine, man. That was awesome. 14.8.
Ignacio with a
14.8. Not quite the 15, but just about
He took that title for today. Who else do we have? We have one more routine for Stanford. And
Noah Newfield on floor right now.
I wonder if the guys like this tri-meet format, or if they like the new dual meet format better. I mean, what the tri-meet format I think is helpful with is it kind of keeps you in your own bubble and keeps your team isolated in terms of like morale. But I think what's so nice about the new dual feet format is that you can kind of really go head to head, like it's its own match. So it'll be interesting to see what they like better.
Yeah, and I was on the team, and I don't think we competed where we did the new duel where both teams would be on the same event, but that's one of those things we talked about earlier with, different events scoring different ways, and it's hard to compare, a team's horse to a team's vault or something. That's one of those things can be eliminated. So I think it's really cool what they're doing with that. Mark's here up on rings, super strong. I mean, that is a perfect Maltese, and he's doing it late in the routine.
Yeah, he has a jam-packed strength move routine, that is for sure. And he does have a new dismount this year, so that's exciting to see him upgrade his dismount.
Yep.
As well.
Little stumble, but stayed on his feet. It's big for him. For a guy like him, he has all the strength, locked down. It's just trying to get that dismount, where he wants it to be. But it looks like it's there. Just had a little stumble there, but excited to see him put that in.
Yeah, it really brings the entire routine to a high level. So our last routine of the rotation with Tyler. Cal's trying to finish off their good rotation as well. OU finished with a 69.15, anchored by Ignacio with a 14.8. Stanford's going to finish with a solid ring score as well, with Asher's 15. We'll see if Mark can get anywhere close to that. And then we'll be able to show some team totals and see where we stand halfway through, and all scores balanced out because everyone will have done every event.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, great 2.5 dismount there. That's so tough to stick at the end, but man, it looks good when you do it. And I'm pleasantly impressed. I mean, we've seen, I think, from all three teams, just a very clean, strong performance. This is what you want to see from any gymnastics fan.
Totally. So we got our event summary here. We're still waiting on Tyler's score, but pommel horse, like we said, OU with a 69.15, really showcased with Ignacio with a 14.8 from a 16.3 start value. Probably one of the highest start values that we'll see all today. I mean, other than Coy, who is right there with a 16.4. On pommels. But a full recap: Cal with a 66.85, OU 69.15, and Stanford with a 71.3. So our team totals are: Cal is in third with a 202, OU has a 206, and Stanford has 211.3. We're going to be moving on to the other three events: vault, parallel bars, and high bar. Stanford probably starting on the one event that they really, really wanted to start the meet off on vault.
Yep, and if I know Tom and the team, they're going to be, if they get their pick at NCAAs, they're going to be starting there. It's been good for them and the team, for the past 4 or 5 years. So, this is the event that they love to get going on, and they got some big routines there.
Definitely. I don't know if they necessarily put. I don't know if they've put it all together so far this year, because when we look at the rankings on Road to National, they're actually ranked 7th, and OU is ranked 1st. So it'll be interesting. I know that, coming from Stanford, I always feel like it's been a strong event, but I don't know if they've quite been able to put it together with those stuck landings.
I think also at this time of the year, I mean, it's not early by any means, but there's still some, competitions left, and with a team that has so much talent like Stanford, a lot of their guys, leave for international competitions or national team events, and you don't get your full lineup always right away, and but looks like we got a jam-packed lineup here with Taylor, Boltcoy, Brandon, and Asher. What are some key events you got, or key routines on this fourth rotation?
Let's see. I think Noah Sano on P-bars will be interesting. He's currently ranked 15th in the nation. And then, for vault, I think obviously Asher, it seems like him being in the anchor spot, he'll probably pull out not only his most difficult vault, but the most difficult vault in the world. And then on high bar, Jack Freeman and Emery is also, something that we really need to keep an eye on. OU is ranked 1st on high bar as a team, and they're also ranked 1st on vault. So it'll be interesting to see how this rotation unfolds. I always like watching vault. I think it's exciting. It's quick. But high bar, I mean, all 3 of these events, if I had to choose probably 3 events compared to the last 3 events, these would be the 3 events to watch. So I'm definitely excited for this. Not only this rotation, but all 3 coming up.
Yeah. I think my favorite, especially in Olympic final format, I mean, high bar, it's always so fun to watch. I mean, you're high flying, it's a lot of risk, it's a lot of reward, but always super fun.
High risk, high reward, yeah, that's for sure. So it looks like they're going to do their 2-minute touch, their little warm up here. Maybe Taylor even just went, but here we go. We're going to get started off with Max on high bar.
Yeah, Oklahoma's always been a strong high bar team. I mean, even since when I came there freshman year, they've always had guys that just pull it out. I mean, when I was there, they had Genki, their assistant coach now, and Levi and Yule. All those guys were great. Now they got guys like Jack and Emery, and I mean, yeah, the list goes on and on. They always produce great high bar guys.
Yeah, I mean, you did high bar throughout your 4 years. It always seems to be that balance, or walking on that tightrope of adding difficulty, adding risk, and seeing that reward. How did you and Tom kind of think about whether you should put in this new skill or put in the Kovacs or the Coleman? How did you? Was there like a number that you had to hit in practice for it to go into the routine, or was it more just a gut level feeling? Or was it just Tom saying, you need to do this?
It's, coach goes. Whatever coach says goes. But, typically it's more about just how many routines you hit. It's you can throw the big skill in there, and even if you have it locked down, if it makes you tired throughout the routine and the rest of your routine just isn't as good as it was, that's another thing to keep in mind. So it's just more about the hit percentage of the actual routine. But, yeah, it's a very thin line to walk. It's like, do you try to do the 6-0 and maybe get a 7-0 execution, or just stick with the 5-2 and know you can hit that clean?
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, things still happen. So just because you compete it once and you fall, or you do it in practice and you fall once, doesn't mean that it's not the right routine for you. I mean, things happen in competition. Nerves get to you. Um, with OU specifically, they've traveled here. It's different equipment. It's training on different stuff. So, Coy, that was ridiculous.
Great vault from Coy. There's a reason why he's a silver medalist, not just on horse, but on vault.
Yeah, that's crazy. We've been seeing more of those frontward kind of handspring vaults, especially because it's so difficult to do the cause style vaults without getting deduction. Whereas straight on vaults, either your Chanko or handsprings, you can keep your feet together, as you lift from the board to the table.
Absolutely. And those judges pick up on it. I mean, it's fast, and most viewers may not even notice it, but virtually everyone that does those Kazamatsu style vaults, they split their legs, and it's an automatic deduction. So
it looks like they must have got something on Coy, because he scored the same as Colt, and even though he was 4/10 higher in his difficulty. So it'd be interesting to see what they specifically noted. Maybe it was a little bit of deduction in the beginning of the fight.
Not sure. Oh, it looks like Brandon Kazamatsu 1.5, and I haven't seen him compete that much. I mean, I've seen him do the Kaz full, and it's great to see him pull that out.
Stuck dismount on P-bars as well. Cal's going crazy over there with Brigham sticking a dismount after a really good routine. It did look like, not Brigham, sorry, Darren. It did look like Brigham did fall on high bar, but then he finished up his routine pretty smoothly. So
that's the name of the game, right, Brian?
That is, you gotta. Every routine counts here. Literally, every routine counts. I mean, we used to have times during the season where you'd compete 6 guys and only 5 would count. So yeah, you could have a slip up here and there. And wow, vault went so fast we just missed. We didn't miss it, but we just saw Asher do an amazing vault. So
I mean, it's crazy. He's the first collegiate guy to do that vault. And not only that, but I think it's absolutely crazy that he does it every weekend. You see the top guys that in the world that do that vault, right? They do it, at the big competitions, whether it's world champs or Olympics or their nationals. But doing it every week, virtually, on a competition surface is very, very difficult.
Yeah. And with a 72.9 that they just scored on vault, that beat their 4-score average. So they've got to be happy about that. Finishing up with Asher's 15.2. Yeah, Darren with P-bars with a 14.05 from a 14.9 is an unbelievable routine.
Yep. And take us back to the 6-up 5 score, and how we changed that back to 5-up 5 count, and the importance of just sticking with each routine.
Yeah, totally. I mean, what I was saying was, there's parts of the season where you'd compete 6 guys and only 5 scores would count. So if you had a fall here or there, well, not really here or there, I guess just one fall, you'd be okay because the next guy would, basically replace that score. But now, it's not like that. And so when you look at 2 scores, and you look at, when we compare California and Oklahoma right now, they're less than a point away in their team totals. So a fall could make or break the competition in terms of winning or losing. A point is a big deal and makes a big difference. So it's especially important now throughout the entire collegiate season. It's 5-up 5 count that at every routine, whether it's a high difficulty, whether it's an easier routine, it's important that it's hit. And I'm not sure necessarily why they did that. I wonder if it was to prepare, again, like you were saying, to a lot of these athletes are going to the Olympics, and or are training to go to the Olympics. And so because, the Olympics is that way this year, I wonder if they wanted, to have some practice under these guys' belts. I don't necessarily know exactly why they changed it, but that would be my reasoning.
It also could probably just be, moving these competitions along, having 6 guys up and even a 7th in all-around spot, Sometimes these competitions can last a good bit, but...
That's true. That's another reason, yeah, that's for sure.
Looks like Kelton is on eval. Jack is about to be going up on high bar. This is one of the routines throughout all the competition we wanted to watch.
Yeah, do you remember where he was last year at NCAA finals?
I'm not sure. I do know I think he won Winter Cup high bar last year, 2023. So he has a lot of experience. Accolades to show for it. So he's also a Neeson Emery finalist. That came out I think just today. So huge testament to him and what he's been able to do while at Oklahoma.
Totally, yeah. Kelton is ranked 2nd on high bar, and Jack is ranked 3rd on high bar, and Emery is ranked 4th on high bar. So they kind of have back-to-back-to-back. Yeah, they have back-to-back-to-back routines here. It'll be great to watch and see how it goes.
Good half tuck. Big Coleman. Wow.
Great connection there. That late in the routine to do 2 connections after doing 4 skills is insane. Yeah, he's putting together a really great routine. If he sticks this, OU's gonna go crazy.
And an event like high bar has come to be, almost a weakness for Team USA. So having a strong event like this can really go a long way for guys. And Jack sticks his dismount, and you're right. Team's going crazy. Awesome to see.
Yeah, I think that they might have lost a little bit of momentum after Brigham with an 11-7, but I think that they're on their way back. Again, like we said, Kelton, Jack, and Emery are the top 5 in the country right now, and Jack just showed why.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that you have to learn right away when you're in college gymnastics. When you're on that team, if the person before you falls or has a mistake, you gotta go up and set it right, because if you start letting it snowball, that's when you can really lose a lot of points. So great job by Jack. Looks like he got a 13.6. Yeah, a little curious on why the execution score for that one was so low, but maybe the judges saw something we didn't.
Yeah, I think maybe there were some close catches. They've been really harsh on those lately. But in the background of that, we did see Noah Neufeld stick dismount and just scored a 14-1 on P-bar. So they're putting together an unbelievable run as well. Looks like nearly 14s on all routines.
Oh, wow. Big Casino.
Followed up by Coleman.
Oh, that's too bad. Emery's putting together a solid routine there. And those are some of the things, I was talking about earlier. You add the big Casino, Coleman, and, sometimes even when you have those skills locked down, it affects, other parts of your routine. But hoping to see him come back up and nail the rest of it.
And this is a really good routine by Noah on P-bars as well. I mean, this was one of our routines just when we were starting out that we were like, yeah, this is one that we want to keep an eye on, and it's definitely proving to be an important one in their lineup. They're going to finish off this with a huge score on P-bars.
Almost the stick. Yeah, and those turning skills for people that are watching, finishes up with a great double-double. Great finish there. Those turning skills, the quas, the rebalcos, the jam skills that finish in the handstand, those are generally where, you know, high bar routines lose a lot in execution. So, you know, people that watch gymnastics, you know, not too closely, they'll see a routine where they catch the bar and they don't see any visual errors, but those angles are the things that kill high bar routines. But
we got our event summary here. We're waiting on a few more scores from parallel bars and high bar together. But let's debrief vault for a little bit. All in the 14s or 15s. That's the name of the game on vault. And you know, Asher with a 15-2, obviously his start value carries a long way. But also Coy and Colt and Brandon with great scores, and Taylor with a solid start as well. So
yeah, I don't know if that's their season high or not, but it's got to be close if it's not.
It is pretty close. Yeah, it's not quite their season high, but it's like a half a tenth away or something like that.
Yeah. It looks like Noah's last routine came in for Cal. They finished with a 69.55, which anytime you're closing in on that 70 mark, especially on an event like P-bars, you're doing something right. And they had 3 sticks, and Noah almost had that stick on the last routine. So great showing here on P-bars by Cal.
Totally. So we're gonna move on to some other events. We're gonna go to we're gonna go OU's on vault. Stanford's gonna be on parallel bars, and Cal on high bar. I guess before we talk about the highlighted routines, which we can get into a little later, let's jump into these mindsets of the guys. Stanford, obviously, they're winning by 12 points to Cal, and over about 14 points to OU. If you're Stanford, what are you thinking right now, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, you're not satisfied, right? I mean, you know, you never know what can happen, and you know, things can happen. Teams can get hot, and teams could have some mistakes. But you know, especially right now with this not being, you know, it's a try meet in the regular season. You're trying to put together the highest possible scores you can. You know, it's not just about winning today's meet. So you're trying to just beat yourself, put together the best gymnastics you can, because you know your average score is what determines your ranking, which determines, you know, when you get to pick, you know, the event in NCAAs. So, you know, they're just trying to focus on their gymnastics and nothing else right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like there's 2 ways that it could affect a team. You could be, you know, you could see that score as a team, and it could really motivate you to want to even win by more, or it could make you a little nervous and tense up because you don't want to lose that lead. And I think the first one is obviously the better. You still want to do your gymnastics. You've been training it. And again, they just came from vault. So they just came from a really high scoring event, and they still have high bar and obviously P-bars left. Let's say you're Cal. Let's talk about Cal and OU. Cal's winning right now. If you're Cal and you're headed to high bar, what are you thinking? Are you looking at the scoreboard? Are you trying to stay in your own bubble? Are you excited that you're now beating?
Are you telling me about what I should do or what I would do? Because I know you should not watch any scores, but you know I am.
If you, yeah,
I mean, it's got to be motivating. It's got to be motivating to see, you know, you're right there, and it can hopefully amp you up. But you know, you just can't let it make you get conservative. You know, the second especially on an event like high bar. You know, the second you try to play it safe or just be like, all I got to do is hit and stay on the bar, you know, that's generally when mistakes happen. So you just gotta do your gymnastics.
Yeah, totally. And as far as OU, this is definitely an important event for them. If they they have to close that gap with Cal and Stanford because it's such a high scoring event. You know, you saw Stanford just score almost a 73 on this event, almost 10 points higher than a horizontal bar score. You want to kind of replicate that on vault. So we'll probably see some big vaults from OU and great routines all around in this rotation.
Yep. Looks like we got Leo high bar. Huge Tkachev.
Great vault from Leo. Jackson's putting together a great routine on high bar, and it looks like Arun is over there in the corner doing his P-bars. And a stuck dismount.
Great finish by them.
Cal is on fire today.
Yeah, you know, they've been, you know, the past couple years have been really climbing up in the rankings and scoring a lot bigger team scores, and you know, it's been really awesome to see them, you know, really get up there in the rankings and score well. So, you know, I know back, you know, our last year in 2022 when we were at NCs, they were there at NCs and you know, they almost got in there into the finals, and I know that's what they're trying to do this year. They're a very talented team. They've got a lot of you know, veteran guys there, and I know they're amped up.
Yeah, it's always great to see them pushing at NCs all year round, actually.
Another
OU is doing their thing on vault right now. They're bringing back the energy.
I mean, anytime you can have a lineup full of, you know, 15-2 vaults, you know, that's a very strong rotation.
Nice.
Yep.
So yeah, getting back to some of the key routines that we're probably going to look at. Emery on vault. Obviously, we've talked a lot about him today. Hoy has one of those routines on P-bars that's impressive, and so does Colt. Asher's got a great routine on P-bars, but he's actually not going to count for today's scores, but it's something that, you know, we obviously still want to watch. Tyler, who we just saw on high bar, that would have been one of my routines to kind of watch out for, and also Darren.
Wow, stuck 1.5 there. Looks like that was Emery. Yep. So you got a 15 on floor and probably gonna get close to it there on vault.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Wow. That's crazy. But that's exactly what they've been looking for.
Yep.
He's a solid competitor for them in the anchor spot or near it on all the events that he competes.
Yeah, we got Taylor here on P-bars, another national team member from Stanford. Good Makut's there. Taylor's always had just these incredible arsenal of crazy skills. You know, when he came in freshman year, he could just do some of the biggest gymnastics that, you know, anyone in the gym could do. But he's really starting to piece everything together. And, well, just as I say that, I jinxed him. But, you know, I love seeing Taylor, you know, mature, and it's a good way to finish there. Duck dismount.
Yeah, Emery with a 14.8 on vault. They only found 4/10 of the deductions on that.
Got Darren Wong here on high bar.
Darren, one of our routines to watch as well during this rotation. Doing a lot of great in-bar work.
And you can see just the score difference between high bar and vault is, you know, that's one of the things to watch out for. I mean, you know, we've seen a couple of good high bar routines from Cal, and they're scoring the high 12s versus, you know, these Oklahoma guys are hitting their vaults and scoring mid 14s. So
yeah, and
they're certainly
and now
it's up a lot.
It's kind of funny, you know. Oklahoma's already done with vault, and we still have 4 routines to get through on P-bar. So they got a little break time. They flew through vault. Now they can settle down a little bit and prep for their last event of the night.
Yeah, and it looks like Oklahoma's sitting at 343. You know, if they just doing quick math, if they score 70, that puts them at a 413. So they're on pace for a very strong score tonight.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, Stanford has to keep it up. They can't let down anything. They have to keep the momentum strong. I mean, finishing on high bar is not any easy task. But obviously, as a Stanford alum, my unbiased opinion is that they will win. Unbiased,
of course. Oh, glad landing there's okay.
That's unfortunate.
You know, those high bar routines specifically, I mean, when you have one of those long routines and you're at the end, your forearms are just cramping and it's hard to grip that bar. So glad he's all right there as we switch to Jeremy. Yep, good to pelt. And this is what I was talking about with men's gymnastics. I mean, all the guys, even if they finish up their routines, they're back there just shouting. Wow, good way to finish up.
Jeremy's definitely cleaned up very nicely over, you know, the year, and it's great to see. Senior night, putting on a show, Jeremy, and he still has one more event. He's probably gonna be the last guy up of the whole meet. He's last on high bar, so he's gonna cheer his guys on, but he's gonna get ready for his last event as well. Andrew, what would be your least favorite event to end on? If you had to choose, would it be pommel horse? What would it be?
So my favorite is rings. It's always been that way.
Yep.
I think my least favorite would probably be. I think it would probably be horse. Yeah, you know, once you're through 5 events, you know, you kind of just want an event where mistakes are to a minimum, and that's a very mentally, you know, fatiguing event. So I would say horse. For you, I mean, you did.
I would probably say the same, to be honest. Even though I didn't do horse, I'd probably say the same, just because, you know.
I mean, sometimes it's worse when you're sitting there in the corral watching, right? I mean,
maybe not my pommels, but maybe somebody. Yeah.
What do you mean? You could swing back in the day.
Yeah. On video with some editing. But with Coy going, he's second to last guy on P-bars for Stanford. This was definitely one of those routines to watch. Very smooth, very elegant. And again, really, really clean, but super packed with difficulty. I mean, Jeremy just did a 16 16.0 start value. I think Koi's has to be somewhere around there.
Beautiful double pike.
Great dismount.
Yep.
And you can tell his gymnastics has definitely developed that international look. I mean, even with international competition and over the years, you can just see his composure and poise throughout the entire routine and every skill, all the way to the dismount, which is great to see.
I think P-bar is an event for him where, you know, it wasn't always the most natural event like horse was for him, but he's improved a lot over the years there. So, a testament to him and his work ethic.
Definitely.
Looks like we're gearing up for Colt here. I hope we see him do the giant Makutes. One of the coolest skills, I think, on P-bars.
I think he's consistently had that in his routine, so I think we will see it. This is a really cool arena, though, or pavilion. I mean, look how close the spectators are.
They're probably getting covered in chocolate.
Yeah. Wow, cool.
16.95. 9.25 execution. Yeah, I mean, especially with a step on the landing. I mean, see if Colt can follow it up. Here's the normal Makutes.
There we go.
Yep.
Oh, nope. It's all right. This is as Colt is a senior. This is Colt's last routine of the night, and in this pavilion, which is exciting probably for him, but he definitely wanted to hit it.
Yep.
And finishes off with a perfect dismount.
Looks like he's excited.
Oh, while we wait for... Yeah, you go ahead.
I was going to say, and P-bar is one of those events, I mean, it's like a pit crew that comes out there to change the bars, stock up, change the mats. I mean, you know, events like the floor, I mean, there's nothing really to do. But really cool seeing all the guys just prep everything for the next match.
And these aren't even just the guys that are competing. There's 3 other people on there that are just on the team helping out. So there's so many different variations of how people like the bars, whether it's a little wider, different shock settings, different settings like that. If you want a springboard or a mat, so gotta make it easiest for the gymnast, who is now Asher.
When's the last time you did P-bars?
I don't know. Probably my first day at Stanford. And Tom said, yeah, we probably don't need you in that event anymore. Maybe your time is better spent on floor, so...
Let's go. Make it happen. People back home, man. Give them something to watch. Let's go.
Next up on
Asher Colt gets a 14.25. So Stanford finished out with a 70.5 on P-bars, which, like I said, anytime you get that 70 mark, you're doing something right.
Yeah, definitely. And they've been right around that all night, really. They've hit 70 on every event except for pommel horse, so they're having a great week, and they've got to be happy about it.
I'm glad they're doing it for us. I know we're commentating
Yeah,
on
yeah. I mean, we deserve it, you know.
great finish.
Asher finished up a great routine, and
For us.
for us, thanks, Asher. But I mean, still with that same math that you did, if they, you know, if you do a 70 across the board, OU's going to be at a 413. Cal's going to be at a 403, which is great, and Stanford will be at 424. I mean, a 70 on high bar is going to be challenging, but they do have a solid lineup, and again, if they hit and stick dismounts, they're going to be in good shape. But just to recap a little bit on these last events, OU with the standout performance with a 42.25 on vault. Emory with the biggest and the best vault with the stick. Stanford had a great rotation with a few sticks you can see there as well. Unfortunately, Asher's 14.9 didn't count for the total, but they all the rest of them had great scores and put up a great lineup. And horizontal bar, I know we saw a couple falls and a couple mistakes here and there from Cal, but still put up a 63.45. I mean, I know Landon had that freak incident, and so if that had been a couple points higher, you know, we'd be looking at a different situation. But they should still be happy to that, and they're moving on to one of their probably highest scoring events as well.
Yep, absolutely. That quick math, Brian, I mean, if Stanford and Cal both scored at a 70 or somewhere close, that would be a season high for both of them. Looks like Oklahoma would be just off of theirs, but also close. So, seen some great gymnastics. Hope we can finish it up.
Totally, and we're going to move into the final rotation. Like we said, Cal is going to be on vault. Stanford, OU is on parallel bars, and Stanford will be wrapping it up on horizontal bar. Andrew, why don't you go first and tell us who are you excited about seeing, either as a team or as an individual on these events?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I want to see Stanford guys close it out. Last meet of the year in Burnham for the seniors, you know, strong on high bar. Definitely want to see Brandon win. He has a huge high bar set, and it'll be his last routine here. Jeremy Bischoff as well has a great routine and last routine for him. I think Darren on vault and you know, Emory on P bars are some of the things that stand out.
Yeah, and I think just chiming in there and bringing up the rankings for this year, Jasper is in 7th with an average of a 14.633 with a high of 15 on vault. So that'll be really great to see on vault as well. I would also point out that Nick typically does a few other events for Stanford, but just looks to be doing high bar today in his first up. So I'm excited to see that. He's always been a really clean high bar competitor, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I mean, he just won the world title in NCAA last year, so you know, hopefully he's not dealing with any injury, but assuming he's healthy, I mean, that just shows how competitive, you know, the team at Stanford is to I mean, Perla, you know that. I mean, you ended up being floor champion last year, but you know, even you every week to week had to compete to make the lineup.
Oh yeah, there were weeks where I was in and out of the lineup, and other guys would go in, and I think that it's a testament to a deep team and a team that's highly competitive, but also respectful of each other, which is what I think Stanford had and was unique in that way. But I think, again, like, any of the 5 people on all these events could win. Someone could have, a fall, or someone could break here or there in their routine. So, again, the rankings on the preseason rankings or even the season rankings, they mean a little bit, but they don't mean too much. It all comes down to either conference championships or the actual NCAA championships. So you got to show up those days. You got to be healthy. You got to be, you have to travel good. You have to not be sick. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. And so it's all part of the game. It's all part of the fun as well. Wouldn't you say?
But as you mentioned, Kubler going up on high bar. Excited to see his routine.
Definitely. I think he has a couple high flying skills. Specifically Coleman.
Very nice.
With a perfect form. A great vault as well from Kubler's waited. Nick Kubler's waited all day to do this routine, and you wouldn't be able to tell. It looks like he's been warming up in the background maybe, and he looked confident throughout that entire routine. And Tom just threw his head back because he didn't stick it. But overall, it was a great routine, a great start on Kubler.
He'll hear about that.
Wow.
Stick from OU there on P-bars though.
OU looks like they're getting back into the groove of it since that first vault, actually. A great vault from Cal.
And they're doing, the 14-8 start by U vaults, but they're doing them, near flawless. So, sometimes that's the benefit, the weighing of if it's worth it to do the 14-8 or 15-2 with a big step, and sometimes it's better to just go with kid. 14-2-5, the 4-8 vault, it's not much more to ask for.
Totally. Yeah, those routines right there. Those routines right there are, those 2 vaults, 14-1-5 and 14-2-5. Those are right in line with Stanford and OU's 15-2 start values. So,
yep. Oh, and there's Taylor. Unfortunately missed one at Tkachev. Hopefully he gets back up and finishes this out strong.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Not sure what happened on vault there, but
Darren looks like maybe he missed the springboard or something, but I don't think that there's much you can do there. Once you touch the table, your routine is your vault or your routine is pretty set in stone. But Taylor getting back up and connecting all 3 releases, even though he missed that one, and is good to see from him. And just like we talked about, every routine counts. So even though he fell on that release, it's important to you still need those for your start value.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is still a regular season meet where he's proven to his his teammates and coaches that, hey, I had a mistake, but I went up and I'm confident enough in my gymnastics to repeat it and finish well. So feel good. Good finish there.
Zach with another really good finish on P-bars. Taking a look back at Nick's score, so Nick got a 13-5 from a 14-5 start. That's exactly what we were talking about a little bit earlier. That's the benchmark where you want to be at. You want to be, more than a point off in deductions, especially with a routine like Nick's. You definitely want to be under a point. Darren scores an 11.55. It might seem a little odd, but that didn't seem to be his intended vault. As you can see, it was a 13-2 start value. But again, things happen. But it's good that he looks like he walked away just fine.
Yep, and then there's the 15-2 vault. So, you know, for a guy like Kalen, I mean, who just went up, I mean, he didn't need to do the 4-8 vault heavy clean. He can do a big and clean 5-2, so that was awesome to see.
Exactly. And that proved true as well. He got a 14.45 with that clean landing, but now up we have one of our routines to watch. The key routines to watch is Jasper. So
for that, I mean, Brandon's up on high bar. Really excited to see him. Last routine here in Burnham. Let's see if he does his full difficulty.
This is a great routine to watch. It's a high flying routine,
and those angles were great. That's one of the key things for him. Great Coleman.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things to think about when you're doing a routine. It's not only do you have to keep your legs straight and your toes pointed, but all these releases, the judges expect you to catch them with your arms straight, and so there's not much you can do without getting a deduction, which is why sometimes you'll see lower scores on high bar, because every time you catch the bar with bent arms or bent knees, there is the potential that the judge does take that deduction.
Yep. Now he's going to be happy with that. Stayed on the bar, hit the angles, almost stuck the dismount. So happy for Brandon.
Yeah, he had a good senior night today, which is great to see. Oh, he was putting together set after set on pommel on P bars that'll get him, a good score to finish up. And Jasper did end up with the highest score on vault for Cal with a 14.7, which is great. I mean, seeing that vault, he well deserved it.
And that's the last routine for Cal, and they put up a season high for 4.95. Their previous high was a 400.8, so built on it by over 4 points. So they're heading in the right direction going into postseason.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that might even bump them up a whole position in the rankings this year. I mean, there's still some routines there's still some meets to get through, but that might make a difference.
There's Asher, good Coleman. Kachev here. And, if there's one event that Asher, isn't as naturally looking on is high bar, but he's put in a lot of work and made this routine fit for his strengths.
Totally, yeah. And he's still in the Stanford lineup, and he's still putting together routines and putting up scores for Stanford. But I think it comes down to those little things, the things that, he has such a huge start value on floor that he might not need to worry about. It's all about those little things for him on high bar, which also comes into play as he thinks about the Olympics. If he can be a competitor on the USA stage on high bar, that makes a huge difference in trying to format that Olympic team.
Absolutely. Looks like we're heading over to Nico here on P-Bars. And Oklahoma's been having a very solid P-Bar run so far. All scores 13, 4, 5, and higher, so Nico trying to build on that.
Totally, and they've had a stick as well, so seems like they're headed in the direction to probably take second in this meet, but be above Cal.
And just like Brandon, looks like we got Jeremy. Last routine up for him.
Yeah, he's been a solid competitor for Stanford this year on high bar. One of the staples in the Stanford high bar lineup. And coming in, 7th in the nation and ranked the highest of the Stanford high bar workers, which is great to see. Getting the connections in there and some of the bonuses that help him out.
Yeah, I mean, and watching Winter Cup, this was one of the biggest events for him, making senior team. Great routine there, small hop, but love to see that for Jeremy.
Yeah, totally. I'd be interested to know what team won the most amount of sticks. If I had to guess, I think it would be OU. I mean, just taking a quick look at Stanford, they had 1 on rings.
Let's go.
2 on parallel bar. So they had 3 sticks tonight.
Man, that needs to go up.
That does need to go up. And I mean, in comparison, OU had 3 sticks on rings alone. So that makes it, like we said, that makes a big difference.
Yep. Here's Emery.
Let's go, Emery. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Get it. Work. Work. Let's go. Work it up.
Very cool Peters. Skill studs to 1 bar.
Let's go, Emery. Good. Work, Emery. Let's go. Keep working. Let's go. Come on, Emery. Work. Good. Let's go, Emery. Come on. Good.
Jeremy finished here with Jeremy finished with a 13.9, which for high bar is fantastic. Oh, looks like Emery hit the bar a little bit. Was able to finish and land it clean, but should be a little deduction there.
Stanford did finish up their final, and I know we'll get to the scores a little later, but they put up a 421.15, which is currently the highest score of the year, not only for Stanford but for any team across the NCAA. So they've got to be happy about that, and they did a great job. They had maybe a couple falls here and there. They can improve their sticks, but their lineups were jam-packed with difficulty. Execution was very good as well.
And there's been a conscious effort over the past couple years for Team USA to push difficulty, and a lot of the Stanford guys are there, so they've been following that along as well. So the Stanford routines are all starting very, very high start values, and especially here in high bar, I mean, anything in the mid 5s, 5.6, 5.5, 5.6, those are big start values. So
yeah, exactly. So just to kind of recap this final rotation, and then we'll go into some other leaderboards. But vault, even with that one kind of rare mistake, Cal did score a 69.1 on vault. OU scored a 67.35 on parallel bars, and Stanford, a couple mistakes here and there, but overall held it together and scored a 66.45 to pull out and finish up the win.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. It was just good gymnastics all around. This is what you want to see, and it makes me excited going into MPSF Championships, here in a couple weeks with these 3 teams meeting again.
Totally. And so, we can go through these, and floor exercise. Emery's routine was off the charts. It was really, really good, not only with difficulty, but also execution. Seems to have been the most difficult and the best execution, which is why he won by over 7/10. So yeah, I mean, overall, there were not there were I think there were some mistakes on floor, to be honest. But overall, I think it was great for all teams.
I mean, that was one of the events where you can expect to see the highest scores, but it looks like here on horse you had a lot more, mid to high 14s, which is kind of rare.
Exactly, and JR being one of the seniors, it's nice to see him up on the podium as well. Yeah, I mean, execution-wise, you'll see a lot of the same, but the best execution will always be up there in the top. Still rings, you could tell that this is one of Stanford's probably strongest events and helped them win today. Again, Asher with the best execution of the night, one of the best executions of the night, and the highest difficulty. And also Chris getting in there from Cal with a 14.15.
Yeah, I mean, look at those 4 sticks. I mean, that goes a long way with obviously placing up there in the leaderboard. So.
And one of the highlights of the night was Asher's vault and Emery's vault, going toe to toe. 2 of the best in the country. And then, like we said, one of the routines to watch out for was Jasper's. He's up there as well with 14.7. Emery was the only one to stick it on this leaderboard, and that's what put him ahead of Jasper, really. And parallel bars. Stanford had some great routines here. This was the event that OU was kind of struggling on but overall Stanford did a great job. Coy with almost a 15, and then working it down to Noah's routine was so memorable as well with that stick at the end. And then high bar, we'll see some lower scores here, but overall, all in the 13s, which is kind of where you want to aim for. Jeremy's routine was one that Andrew pointed out was so good today and at Winter Cup, and then Darren's routine was also one that had great execution and ended with a great stick. And then Brandon also got in there during senior night to pick up the tide for third. Andrew, as an all-arounder, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, it looks like only really one guy tonight did all-around, but, Asher put up an 86.05, which, by today's scoring is just absolutely crazy. I mean, he had 2 15s. I think he had a 15 on rings vault and then almost one on P-bars, so he's doing big gymnastics. It's awesome. The difficulty score of a 34.7, is big, and it's going to be really fun to see him push for that Olympic spot later this year. But anytime, honestly, really, even anytime you score above an 80 or an 82, you're doing something good, and an 86 is just off the charts.
Totally, yeah. So that's a wrap for today. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. It was a great competition. Stanford took the win. OU was in second and Cal in third. Next up for these 3 will be some other competitions, and then off to MPSF Championships. So thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Brian. I'm alongside Andrew, and we'll see you soon.